1, 2, 3.
I'm sorry you came here.
Hello, and welcome to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. We're super glad you came here.
Those get better and better every time, I must say. Almost every week, they're slightly better than the previous one. That's really good. That's a good one.
Thanks, man. I try. Well, speaking of which, I am your host, Skelhorn.
Power beyond your feeble imagination, and you repay me with incompetence! I should have left you as I found you, pathetic, despised, and weak.
Am I the person you're referring to in that line?
No, he was talking about me. I thought I was doing a pretty good job. You know,
Well, he does say
Fabian Cortez.
He does say he pulled you out of the sewers, so
Yeah, but the pathetic thing, that wasn't very nice.
no, well.
Anyway, with me as always
You look
is
way
my...
more like Fabian Cortez than I do, by the way. Minus the beard, you'd be pretty close. Knock
My
a few years off you.
Fabiandre Cortez.
I have drifted too long in this suffocating void, waiting for the celestial alignment that could free me.
You know, oddly enough, that does apply. I think that does apply fairly well to me. I mean, not
on point tonight.
Not in a purely, purely rational way, like 100%. But I think in some metaphysical way, that kind of works.
Yeah, I think so too. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Our humblest apologies for our thoughtless intrusion.
But intrusion, podcast, review. There's many words for it. But here we are. Oh crap! Talk to the people, Andre. Let's do a catching up with Andre segment while I load up the imagery that I forgot to do.
What's happening with Andre?
He can still fire you up a catching up theme if it'll make
that's fine. No,
get you into the mood.
Sure, let's catch up on old times.
What are they up to? What you think they doing up there?
What you think they doing up there in Truro, Andre?
Well, not much. We've had a week off because last week was what? Why did we take last week off? It was because of me.
You had rehearsal probably.
No, that's on Mondays.
Huh.
Was it my birthday?
Oh, your mother was in town.
But that wasn't on
right. Yeah, it was. Your mother was in for her car.
Right. The week before that was my birthday. Right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we did that. We had the interview with Adrian Huff the week before.
Yeah. Yeah. Go back and check that out, everybody.
Of course. And then so we didn't have our traditional episode, so that one aired instead. And then the next week when we're supposed to have a traditional episode, my mom was in town. She was getting work done on her car the next morning, so at a dealership here. So she stayed the night, so we couldn't have the episode. I'm sorry, but those of you with mothers, I'm sure you understand what it's like to have them come visit. You sort of have to be around.
None of the ex-goons have mothers.
But
nobody has mothers.
I did speak with Adrian Huff personally, and I think we're going to meet up for a drink and maybe
you did good
some karaoke when I'm in BC. So we'll see if we get some photos or something about
that'll be fun.
Yes, he promised to tell me the Steven Seagal story as well. So
okay, and you promised to tell it to me.
And I don't know if I'll be allowed to tell it to the ex-goons, but
we probably can't tell the ex-goons, but I got to get.
We can act it out for them. We just won't tell them in so many words. It'll be like
we'll say it's actually not a Steven Seagal story.
We'll do it without words.
Andre's story.
We'll do it without words. We'll just mime it out. Be like, something like that.
What's your karaoke go to?
I'm not a very good singer, so usually something deep, something like a Johnny Cash type thing, just because my range is down there. But no, I mean, I don't know. I do a pretty good "No Rain" by Blind Melon.
There you go. I like Blind Melon.
All I can say is that my life is pretty plain. I like watching the feathers gathering. I can do better when I'm not feeling well.
I was about to say what you said about your singing. I'm not going to argue with you.
I'm not good.
I'm not going to argue. You're not going to get an argument.
I'm not good. I know I'm not good. Oh my god.
Oh my!
Baby.
I have a child. Oh my! Hi, honey.
I love she just dumps the baby. He's like, goodbye. She's your problem now.
It's happened like the last.
Oh, what a cute baby. Super chill.
I know. Say hi to Uncle Andre.
Hello. Oh my god.
Oh jeez.
She's so tiny.
Oh jeez. Yeah, she's very tiny. She's more than her birth weight, but she's still pretty tiny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we get into it then, Andre? We got the fifth horseman here. The fifth horseman being Fabian Cortez. They never actually outright say that, but that's
no, it's definitely not Fabian Cortez. Oh, it is, but it's not. No, it's not.
Is. Yes, it is.
I never. Yeah, of course it is.
Yes, it is.
Because there, no. Yeah, I guess it would have to be. It would have to be. Yeah. Although the other, in fairness, the hounds aren't horsemen.
They're the horsemen. Yes,
they're not horsemen.
They're his horsemen.
They're called the hounds. They're not called the horsemen.
Yeah, that's fine. He calls them that sometimes. Caliban's been a hound and a horseman, like in the comics, both. Like at different times. You're right, but I suspect they just threw those two concepts together for the cartoon.
I don't know.
That's my guess because there's four of them, man. There's four of them, and the friggin' episode's called The Fifth Horseman. Get out of here! Of course they're horsemen. Who are the other four then?
That's what I'm saying. It makes no sense.
It's them. No, it is. They just smash those two concepts together. Don't let it trouble you too much.
Oh, I'm troubled. Very troubled.
Well,
I'd even go as far as to say I'm perturbed.
Oh my. Well, I should say this is season 5, episode 5 of our show and this show, The Fifth Horseman.
Winding down.
Another Melching and McDermott joint.
Well, winding down, Davan. Only a few more to go.
Are you getting sad? You getting sad about it?
Well, I don't know. We even decided what we're going to do after it, have we?
Well, no, I have ideas. You might hate half of them, but we'll see.
I probably do. Yeah, throw me one, I'll tell you if I hate it.
X-Men Radio Theater.
For months now?
No,
we had like a year before
just like once.
Oh, like, we can do one.
I want to throw rando fun things out there, and then
this is what I suggest. But you and I do something else.
Well, look.
No, we'll do something else. The Silver Surfer cartoon, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, here's what I think. We should leave it up to the
while doing that, we take a break here and there to do extra X-Men episodes that we'll throw on this to keep people engaged every once in a while until the new season picks up.
Exactly. Well,
maybe
it's
once
going
a
to be
month
the same feed. Whatever we end up reviewing is still going to be on this feed. It's still going to be called X-rated.
Well, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Because we're not X-rating. All right. Well, we'll talk.
Yeah, we are. Well, it's too hard to rebrand for just something we're throwing in between the next X-Men show. How did I just get a baby again? Well,
that's fair enough, but is it the same baby? No.
Yeah, same baby. The other baby's crying, so Mama has to go take care of that baby. And
random people just come in and hand you babies at the various points.
Yeah. I don't
the woman that passed it off few changes, like every time it's someone different.
Yeah, that would be
babies
funny,
are different.
Just like random nannies coming down and giving me
or
babies.
Davan has like a secret harem with a bunch of kids that are all the wives are knocking them off on. Like, come on, your turn.
Well, I am a king among men.
Oh, really? Well, I never voted for you.
Well, look, Cousin Dave and I come from a royal stock.
Do you?
Well, yeah, actually. An ancestor of ours married into the House of Savoy, which was a royal house at one point in European history.
Okay.
Like France or
well,
Normandy or like Savoy whatever the hell they call that.
But I'm quoting geez, my brain stopped working. Monty Python and the Holy Grail, when he's like, I'm Arthur, you're king, and he's like, I didn't vote for you, and he goes, you don't vote for a king, and they have this whole thing about voting and whatnot. It's like one of the best parts.
That is pretty funny.
You have seen that movie, right?
Oh, I love Monty Python. Like as a kid, I would just stay up and watch the Flying Circus like over and over again.
All right, well,
I can do the fish dance if you want me to do the slappy fish dance.
No, that's okay. I feel like I'd be the person on the receiving end of the fish.
You would be, yeah. but I would then fall in the water.
We've talked about at the play I'm in. Someone was talking about the Monty Python, and they were saying, how the show fans of Monty Python are so rabid about that and how they're so dedicated to talking about the show when the show really didn't last that long. It only had 2 seasons. They weren't super long seasons. But I posit that the part of the enduring thing, and this isn't a slag on them, but I think it's more of a triumph for how much success they had with the small amount of time they had, is they probably only have 10 sketches in that entire series that are good, like really good, like the ones everybody quotes. The rest, not so much. But those
I might push it to 20.
Okay, well, still, I'd say 10 to 15. But those 10, the camera one, the dead parrot one, the Spanish Inquisition.
I like the one where it's like the soldier who's been like diddling people, and they're just like, I didn't know there was a Basingstoke in Westphalia.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh my god, that one makes me laugh my ass.
Yeah, so some of those are pretty good. All in all, it's like, few and far between. Not far between, but there's more. The diamonds in the rough are quite diamondly, and the rough is quite rough. If you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, there are some that aren't great. That's for sure. Yeah.
But it's a great show.
But like I say that so often in just random conversation. I didn't know there was a Basingstoke in Westphalia.
Westphalia.
Westphalia. He's like, no, the Westphalian Basingstoke. Like,
oh right. Oh right.
Because he's just making up lies. The guy's like he's just lying badly, and the guy's just like taking him serious, and it's all very funny, very Monty Python.
Previously on X-Men.
Who was previous on X-Men? Oh, I know.
A royal wedding gift from the heart.
To the ships! To the ships!
To the ships! I wake up in a sweat yelling that sometimes.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think it's for a different reason than
Oh, Arcade, you're hardly that tortured. You hear that cat?
Yes, I do hear that cat.
Oh my god, he's quite the actor. I tell you, if you ever need an actor cat to play a tortured soul cat, it's this guy.
Have you fed him? Is he dying? You're starving him, obviously.
He's fine. That's all I can say. All right.
Well,
take it away.
We open with 3 red and spike-clad people, or 4 rather, chasing this youth through the woods.
On the cliffside.
They have various types of powers. One is strong. One has
because they're horsemen.
One makes boomerangs, and the other
they're
one
even blue, like Archangel, who
strong.
turned blue when they were horsemen. Of course, they're horsemen.
Mm-hmm. They also look a lot like a certain X-Men character, which is an X-Men point of mine to come up with.
Who? This one here?
All of them, actually, but we'll talk about that.
I was wondering if you had any theories about these guys.
Well, I have one connection that you can probably fill in more info on than I can. So these guys are chasing this kid through the woods. The kid obviously has some kind of magical power, or not magical, mutant powers as well. But some of them are being too aggressive.
Fire powers.
Some of them are being too aggressive and trying to get him, like almost putting his life at risk. In this particular hound, as we will refer to them, says that they need him alive, reminding the others. So they do advance upon the kid, who uses his powers to disperse one of the big heavy of the group. But he escapes.
Oh no, the other guy, Caliban's the tracker.
Well, don't reveal that
also
yet. It's a mystery. You're giving away. You already gave away Apocalypse in the episode.
What, Caliban being a tracker?
You already gave away Caliban's in the episode. Yes, it's a spoiler. Jesus.
Oh, well, anyone who knows anything about Caliban knows that's his power. He's been in this show in previous episodes.
You already revealed that Fabian Cortez is in this episode. Well, they don't know that he's Caliban yet. I mean, I'm assuming they've watched the episode.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, he's in a different form.
Yeah. All right.
God damn it. Honestly, I could sum up this episode in about 5 sentences, but we can.
You liked it more than I did, I think, but it was better as a radio theater. When I was listening to it back to get sound clips, I enjoyed it a lot more because the animation isn't good and it's quite distracting at times.
No, but it's a serviceable X-Men episode. It's just as good as some of the ones. It's just as good as some of the ones from the first season we gave 10.
It's just like, look at this Apocalypse. He's so not threatening.
No,
this is the least scary Apocalypse you could ever imagine.
You can very much see the anime.
Oh, did you hear that? That is what a poop sounds like. Oh my.
That's great. Thanks, Dad.
Whoa.
It's good. You need to know all of your babies.
There you go. It's Fabian Cortez. I didn't spoil anything for very long anyway.
My name is Fabian Cortez.
We know that's him. Who else would have a ponytail like that?
Yeah, well, I was getting to that. My name is also Fabian Cortez, so people might have
Fabian Cortez.
So that's me. So they lose the kid.
What are you doing? We need the boy alive! Hurry! We can't let him get away!
Then we cut to...
Your less worthy servants have allowed the vessel of your glorious return to escape.
So they went and reported to Fabian Cortez. They lost the kid. Cortez went and talked to this giant statue, which is a vessel for which he communicate with Apocalypse, who we learn very quickly is trapped beyond time. He doesn't have a physical form anymore, but his essence is still alive.
Could be the astral plane.
Well, it was... it would make sense, I guess.
Shadow King's there, but it would make sense.
But he wasn't outside of time. He's in the Nexus of Time is where...
Oh, right. He's in the Nexus
He was
of
lost
time.
at the end of the
So
episode.
he's probably still in the Nexus of Time.
That's what I assume. He's left spiraling into an abyss of time at the end of that episode. So I didn't expect to see him again, but we got him back. So
yep.
He's obviously upset that Cortez's goons, as we learn, let the kid get away, and says that this needs to happen soon because there's a convalescence of planets coming that is going when they align. That is when he can get back into a new form, and they need to find a new form that's worthy of his body, a vessel. So Cortez goes out, talks to this tribe of people that are obviously the worshippers of Apocalypse, and they all look pretty cool actually in this because they got. They have their face painted to look like Apocalypse's lips.
I loved that.
Yeah, I thought that was neat.
That.
I feel
If that had been done in the previous animation style, that would have been creepy and just awesome. I
feel like it's something that would have been
in a movie.
I was going to say it would have been cool to see in a live action movie.
They obviously do that, worship... like a Cult of Apocalypse, right?
Well, I mean, they kind of did it in X-Men Apocalypse.
But... We don't speak of that name.
Yeah, it's not great. But so we see Cortez go out and talk to these people that obviously have been worshiping Apocalypse for millennia, and we learn later on that this we'll learn more about this later on. But Cortez, of course, is talking to people and saying Apocalypse's return is coming, and they're all excited. But yeah, it's kind of cool seeing the cult, like all these people with the face paint. It's pretty neat seeing that sort of homage to it. It's very Aztecian too.
For your return.
True, civilization has its drawbacks. But nature has its own dark side. Brutal, merciless, and mysterious.
Kind of like Wolverine before he's had his coffee.
At least you're starting to recognize when you do it. That's the first step to stopping to do it, maybe.
Well, now I have images to tell me so.
Yes. Well, we do see that coincidentally. Well, what I was saying before you cut me off there was that Apocalypse, like his design, which I never really thought of before, when seeing it in relation to all this Aztec imagery with the design of their robes, the colors, and the way that the people dress. His design kind of fits that, which is kind of cool. Like the geometric shapes, the right angles, the hard turns, like it's all very asymmetrical in the way that Aztec art is, which I think is kind of neat. I never realized that before about his particular form, since he's Egyptian. It kind of fits into that too, but it's just sort of neat.
It's cool that he set up this backup plan in the Mayan culture.
Yeah, he's pretty active back in the day, apparently, this Apocalypse. So we do see Beast and Jubilee, who just coincidentally appear to be going on to...
Look at them. Look at Beast.
Yeah, those glasses are interesting. He reminds me of...
It's just the art. The art's just bugging me.
You know what? It's not great. You know what? I wouldn't say as far as animation goes, it's terrible. It's just
not right
just
for
different.
X-Men.
It's just different than what it was.
It's too cheesy and corny, and X-Men is serious storytelling for the most part.
It's very much, you can see how it's inspired by anime, very much so. Because Jubilee's eyes increased by 8 times their size. And, and Beast even has a more friendly anime type
pointed look too, yeah.
Well, less.
He looks like a Dragon Ball character.
His features are softer. More like a friendly monster than, not that he was unfriendly before, but he had sort of a starkness to him. And the X-Men are incognito, wearing X-Men symbols all over their clothes. They're on their way to a dig, which they're going to, they're coincidentally on their way to a dig. Then we see
which is funny. Beast is like, I do archaeology now too. I know I'm a biology guy, but
it's I do whatever the plot needs.
Smart people always do archaeology on this side.
You do whatever I need to do for this plot to have me wind up in the Aztec area for some reason, or the Incan Empire for some reason. So
Yucatecan is barely serviceable, but this is a road sign of sorts.
That's way ahead of us.
It says that a few miles ahead,
way ahead of us,
is a temple
10 minutes ahead of me,
consecrated to the end of the world.
It's not that hard for everybody, yeah. But I just wanted to hear Beast say his Yucatecan is barely serviceable.
Yeah, and then he goes on to aptly translate it almost perfectly, except for one word, which he immediately realizes he got wrong and corrects himself. So obviously, his Yucatecan is quite more than serviceable, I would say. Oh, he's
Smarty pants.
Yeah. Well, it's like, my astrophysics aren't great, but I believe this is a what do you call a Rosenberg bridge through a black hole. Like, he just describes exactly what it is. Anywho, we see Cortez lounging with his gold goblet on his pillow throne there when one of his hounds comes to tell them that they lost the kid and they can't find him. He's very upset. He sends the girl out and then proceeds to use his powers to depower the hound, revealing that he is in fact Caliban from the Morlocks. And he even says, when I dragged you out of the sewer and gave you power, it was to help me. I don't know why Fabian Cortez would have known who Caliban was, also where to find him. I guess, were the Morlocks involved on Asteroid M? Were there any of them there?
There were some of them there.
Yeah, so he might have. Okay, that might make sense. He might have. Yeah. Caliban might have been there before, and Cortez noticed his abilities, and then later on went and sought him out after realizing he could help him in his quest here.
Mm-hmm.
So he depowers him and threatens to leave him depowered and do worse than that if he doesn't, live up to his end and help them find a proper vessel for Apocalypse, because he needs to come back. He needs a vessel to take. So we see Jubilee and Beast. They ran out of road. Well, they ran out of road a while ago, but they ran out of ground, as Jubilee says in a funny little manner.
Oh, yeah, I think I have that.
Because they're driving like a Range Rover or a Jeep.
It appears we have run out of road.
Nah, we ran out of road hours ago.
Yeah, she says we ran out of ground or earth or something, because there's just like a water in front of them. But then
there's a bridge.
Yeah, Beast definitely got a glow up in this animation change. He looks a lot handsomer. He doesn't have all the fur on the side of his face anymore, and he kind of
they humanized him a bit.
Yeah, they really did.
It's not very beastie.
Well, he gets beastier soon, but which is funny because when he's in his beastier form later, he looks closer to his old form than he does in this one.
And Jubilee looks more like a Spider-Man character. What's her name? She's the cop, anyway.
Jean DeWolf?
No, not Jean DeWolf. She's an Asian cop. I forget her name now.
Asian cop in Spider-Man? The cartoon?
No, not in the cartoon. The comics.
Asian cop.
Yeah,
from the last like decade. That character.
Yeah.
I always forget her name.
She's a superhero at night kind of thing too. Vigilante. It wears purple. I forget her name.
She's
That's what Jubilee looks like.
Yeah, I can't remember her name now, but it's a throwback to an old Spider-Man villain.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but it'll come to me later.
Yeah.
Anyway, they find a bridge and they decide, well, let's go use it. When they get closer, Beast discovers that it is ancient. The bridge is ancient, but the ropes on it are new, meaning that somebody's using
the pillars are ancient.
But someone's been using it. He reads the pillar, and
with his barely serviceable
Yucatecan, he says that the people in this upcoming village basically are worship Doomsday, or the end of the world.
The better part of valor is discretion.
Well,
that means run, right?
So many words.
What? Okay, fine.
That's way later. But he, do you have the line he says after that? Because this is pretty poignant. So,
I mean, I might. No.
Well, he reads that saying and he says that these people worship the end of the world. And he says, "No, wait, that's not right." He again, he says that they worship Apocalypse. Yeah. Which should clue them into what is potentially coming. I mean, they are surprised later, but they have no, after being in the amount of adventures they have where villains have come back, you think they would be over surprised with anything at this point.
Yeah.
But what are Caliban's powers exactly?
He can track mutants and also he has fear manipulation powers. People, they don't use those or talk about those as much, but he can do that. Like, he can manipulate people's emotions and shit.
Okay, so that makes sense because they're sitting. It shows the Hound sitting at this dinner table, and then he gets a sense that there's a powerful young mutant nearby, and they need to go and find him.
Oh yeah, he's the best mutant tracker. I mean, that's what they used him for in the Logan movies as well, is it not?
Right, I forgot he was in that.
Yeah, Stephen Merchant.
Right, wasn't he? Yeah, he was. I thought he was.
Yeah, that was Caliban.
Yeah, right. Of course, I like Steve Merchant too. He was good in that movie.
Yeah, he was.
So then the Hounds approach Beast and Jubilee. Beast tells Jubilee to run. Actually, he didn't get that far ahead of me, but that was that line where he says discretion's better part of valor, which is funny because he tells her to run and then he stays and fights them, I guess, to keep them away from her.
Well, exactly. Yeah, as he would. I mean, he's a big beast man. She's just a 15-year-old girl with fireworks power.
Although they animate her to look a lot older than a 15-year-old girl should look.
That's what I mean. She just looks like that cop from Spider-Man.
Especially later on when they have her these little loose-fitting or tight-fitting Incan clothing. I was like, she feels like they sexified her up a little bit for this sort of stuff. But I guess if it's
animation is bugging me.
Like I said, it's serviceable animation. It's just different than what was there before. If the whole series had been this way, you might not bother you so much.
I think it would.
Compared to how good it was before, before it looked like kind of like a Jim Lee, drawings given.
Theory looks a little more beastly.
There are a few scenes.
Yeah, it did look Jim Lee-ish before. You're right.
Now it looks more like Scott Campbell, J. Scott Campbell, whatever.
J. Scott Campbell. Yeah.
But anyway, so Caliban recognizes Jubilee and obviously has a soft spot for her because she was nice to the Morlocks before. When she tries to run,
loves Jubes.
The boomerang throwing Hound cuts the bridge. She falls, is hanging on the bridge. Caliban tries to save her, but he falls too. But then they're both rescued by the Whip Hound, who I don't know if it has a name. There's no credits for these people in the on IMDb or on any of the wikis. So then they believe that Caliban was doing what he could to get her, so they commend him, and they all head back to headquarters. Beast, of course, was captured during this fight as well because he's overpowered by the Hounds. So the two of them are chained up, brought back to.
There he looks more like Beast. Look, it's not even consistent within episode. Like that art from earlier looked nothing like this.
No, you're right. It's very inconsistent.
It's very.
And it may certain cells may have been drawn by certain people. Like who knows, right? Like parts of it could have been drawn by one studio and parts of it by the other. But that one looks very much like Beast from before. Jubilee, not quite as much, but it should be all right. But she's always wearing the...
They also have her hair down different and stuff, too.
Yeah, she's not wearing the glass on her head, too.
No.
So when they approach the temple, Beast makes a comment that it looks very much like the temple, Apocalypse's previous temple. That was that cable blew up in Egypt, and this must be some kind of a backup. And he's right, of course, because then we learn... from the very grandiose entrance of Cortez here with on the shoulders of the men here, that
I am the chosen one, charged by the almighty Apocalypse himself to help him return to Earth.
So then we get his.
He's quite delightfully unhinged.
Oh yes, he's very very Shakespearean. But we see it's cool because I think we pointed this out as a plot hole before that we never got, because we saw Apocalypse in the previous season and it seemed like he was dealt with for good, but I guess like I said, we kind of assume and we know based on the book that they thought that was the end of the series, and we were like, oh well, I guess they're never going to wrap up that him rescuing Cortez thing, but they did.
Deathbird there with him,
but they did. It's right here. So we find out that he's rescued from certain doom by Apocalypse. Apocalypse put him on Earth to look after his backup plan, which is, finding a body for himself if things don't work out.
Apocalypse cannot not exist.
That's very bad writing, and I don't want to shit on the writers too bad, but having a grandiose character use the word not. I don't
know. I like that line. It's poignant.
I guess
it can't not exist.
It's not poignant. It's just if it makes sense that that's the voice of the character and that's how they would talk, I guess that's fine. But It's just like there's so many more colorful vocabulary you could use to say that sentence than to say not exist. Like,
Perhaps.
but it's fine. I'll let it go. But
Apocalypse will only betray you, as he has done to countless others.
Betray me?
He's crazy.
Betray me? Like,
Who's the voice of him again?
I think he's the
really
same
good.
guy that did it last time, but he's quite funny in this one. See if they have him. He's not in the cast. Oh no, he is in the cast. Jeffrey Max Nichols. We'll talk. I'll make him one of my points.
Okay, cool.
I think we talked about him when he was on the show before. He hasn't been in a lot actually. All right, so
he's good.
Yeah, for voice actor, 100%. Not that he can't be good
for a voice actor. Voice actors are top of the tier. Andre.
Agreed, but what I'm saying is I've never seen him act as not a voice, so who knows? He might not be as good.
All right.
But I'm sure he's fine. So basically, he was stuck on Earth to find a vessel for Apocalypse if so needed. Then he found the Hounds and powered them up, these other mutants, to serve him in order to do
Horsemen,
this.
you might even say.
I won't, because there's no Apocalypse, so it'll be Horsemen too. Horsemen in reserve, perhaps, but not true.
The episode's called The Fifth Horseman.
Yeah,
there's at
because
least 5 horsemen in this episode.
the
Who are they? Who are they, Andre?
Yeah, because the show has never made a gaffe before, ever.
Certainly not in the
You're
consistency in
right.
animation.
It makes sense. I mean, honestly,
I am
in
right.
the context of the show, he would be the Fifth Horseman, yes, and the other 4 would probably be the other 4 horsemen because they're looking for a vessel. So,
yeah,
Beast could be the 5th horseman.
Yeah, I thought that based on like the stills and stuff.
No, it's definitely Cortez.
Watching the
You're
episode,
right.
it's definitely Cortez. Yeah.
So he used his powers to turn Beast into the power-up Beast, to turn him into another version of Beast, which I have a point about this later. If I forget, remind me to bring this up. And then that Beast kind of goes crazy, breaks his chains, goes a bit wild. The Hounds try to contain him, but he takes off running in sort of a rage. We've kind of come to the conclusion, based on the Cortez, that they're going to use Jubilee as the new vessel for Apocalypse, and they got to prepare her for the ritual. So they take her off to go do that. Cortez, of course, is talking to Apocalypse, telling him that they're getting ready for the ritual. Caliban approaches Cortez, saying that he wants him to let him find someone else, because he doesn't want to give up Jubilee. And Cortez tells him he's crazy, and Caliban says, "Well, take me instead." And then Fabian says, "Well, you're pathetic. Excuse, like you're not powerful enough to be a good vessel for Apocalypse."
Yeah, thanks, but no thanks.
It's like the same. It happens in every single fictional tale when the henchman to the bad guy turns on him. The henchman or the bad guy is always needlessly mean to the henchman. Just
That's what makes you a villain.
To further point home the fact that he's got to turn on him.
The earth will be cleansed of infidels and the weak.
Caliban.
Infidels is such a broad term.
Yeah.
So we see Beast.
Non-believers.
Beast running off, in his monster form, coming across the Jeep. He sees his own reflection and is horrified by it and flips the Jeep over. Some of the stuff from the Jeep falls out, including Jubilee's bag and some of the other trinkets they've acquired. He looks at a picture of the X-Men and kind of discards it, and then finds a picture of him and Jubilee at a dig site and remembers enough of his former life before he became this monster that he has to go save her. So he starts heading back to the camp, or the pyramid. So then we see the I gotta. Do you have a picture? Okay, we'll come to this in a second. So we see Cortez in his full ceremonial garb. One little point of detail of his costume I'd like to note is that the little symbol on his chest is a little apocalypse face, which I think is kind of fun. It does change. You can change from different angles. It's more noticeable in some than others. Okay, yeah. Go back to that. Do you have another picture of her from the side view on the table?
Just this one.
Okay. Do you not think there's a few that are way worse than this one? But do you not think this is kind of an over-sexualization of a 15-year-old?
Yes, I certainly do.
Do you know what human breasts look like when a woman lies down?
Yes, I do.
They don't normally point up like that. So,
These days they do.
I guess if they're fake, if you're implying that Jubilee has 15, the 15-year-old has fake breasts, then maybe that's what the answer to this problem. But otherwise, I just find it kind of ridiculous. So I always find it funny when cartoons tread that line because they're supposed to be made for kids, but they also, for some reason, put in stuff like this, which has no real reason whatsoever besides titillation, I guess.
There's a lot of lonely fellas drawing cartoons out
but
there.
Who's it? Yeah, I guess so. Maybe that's it. He's like, oh, geez, Janice from accounting won't go out with me. I guess I'll draw her in a skimpy outfit on a table, make her kind of look like Jubilee. So he's ready to start the ritual, basically. Caliban has a change of heart, as we previously noted. And, when the ceremony's starting, she's trying to reach out to him and say, like, Caliban, you can't let this happen. And he has a change of heart. So he eventually attacks Cortez and then tries to rescue Jubilee, but then it's attacked by the other hounds. While this is going on, he gets zapped of his powers and brought back to being his pathetic Morlock self. Basically, he says, like, I'm just going to leave you like this until Apocalypse comes and deals with you, which is always a cop-out. They're always like, I can kill you right now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to wait till the big guy gets here. Then he's going to kill you. Just giving them a lot of...
By then, you'll have figured out our plan and figured out a way out.
It always reminds me of Austin Powers, like the first one, where he's like, he's like, why don't we just kill them now? And he's like, no. He's like, I'm going to leave them in an easily... I'm going to leave them in one room in an inept guard. And no, I'm going to leave them in an easily escapable situation with one inept guard and just assume everything goes according to plan. What's
going on here?
I got a gun in my room. I can go get it. Come back. Bam. We shoot them. It's over. You just don't get it, do you, Scott?
You don't.
It's so good. It's so good.
You don't know how to be a supervillain.
So the ceremony's starting because the planets are aligning and this energy wave is coming down from the sky. But then Beast arrives, throwing guards around, like villagers and guards around like they're nothing. He really does. He is pretty scary in this. The Beast does get quite a scare fest here, which is kind of cool seeing him almost as like a monster. He starts smashing pillars and going wild, to bringing the place down, basically. Caliban, in his depowered form, manages to release one of Jubilee's hands. She can use it to get herself free. While Cortez is trying to deal with Beast, who is fighting with all of the hounds. Basically, Beast breaks free and is descending upon him. He uses powers to depower Beast, put him back the way he was. Jubilee grabs him and starts to get out of there because the place started to fall apart because the pillars are all broken and the energy waves coming down. Cortez tries to escape as well, but then gets pinned by a rock in front of the altar that falls down in front of him.
We're going home.
No. Caliban does not deserve Jubilee's help.
Cortez messed with your head. It's not your fault.
Yep.
That actually is about right here. Yeah. We see them get out. Caliban looks like he had a bit of a change in animation, too. I don't remember looking quite so ghoulish. He looks kind of like the Crypt Keeper from the animated cartoon around this time.
Yeah, he does.
And also, there's the interesting thing about the animation here. When Jubilee, it makes me wonder about the studio and how well they knew the source material. Is Jubilee's like skin color almost gets darker when the way it's animated when she's in the outfit? Like they thought she was South American.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure that's true. It might just be the way they lit it. There's also a weird, did you notice that there's a weird, like, the color in this kind of, like, pulses sometimes?
Yeah, and the cuts, did you notice they do a lot of, like dissolve cuts? Where
sometimes when it's showing, like, areas of a lot of white, like on the Hound's costumes, you can see it kind of pulsing. I don't know what it was, but
the animation was very distracting.
Yeah, parts of it were. So as the, you can pretty much guess what's going to happen next. So as the cloud of energy is coming down, Cortez says, "I'm sorry, Master, I couldn't find you vessel." And he laughs and says, "Well, you did bring me vessel, yours." And then takes him and reforms into the new Apocalypse. And he laughs maniacally, implying that he is now back in his new form.
But you have provided me with a vessel, Cortez.
I don't understand.
It still sounds good. Apocalypse always takes so much delight.
That was a great ending. That was a great ending.
It was.
And I was like, how dense could you be? Like, your whole job is to find a vessel for this guy. There's no vessel left. You're only the one stuck there. And, like, of course he's going to take you. Like, how dumb could you be? He's like, I don't understand.
They make Cortez such a stooge.
Yeah, but, you know, you need your Iagos for your, you know, for your Othellos. Like, you need them there.
Each of us will have to look into his own heart and decide.
I'm gonna let you go
through each other's heart and decide.
Because I'm curious as how different mine is.
Different. Look. I got to take the animation into account.
Yeah, you got it.
So I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, you know, I was going to get a 7, but after talking about it more and more, I think I'm going to give it an 8. Because I do like the episode a lot, and I don't, like I said, the animation in parts isn't great, but it's kind of like when the Batman the animated series changed the animation slightly in season 4, where like
they did that too,
the way that they changed the costumes a little bit. Everybody looked actually like some people look better, some people look worse. Catwoman kind of got a step down, and the Riddler really got a step down. He went from like the cool bowler hat and the domino mask and the tie to like the old school bowler hat with like the Jim Carrey one with the full costume with just question marks a little bit. And he was like a bald, like he looked like a baby kind of. It was weird. He never actually had an episode. You just saw him in the background a few times. But so based on like as an episode itself, you got like Incan Empire Aztec stuff. You got Beast and Jubilee, Beast is always fun for us. We like our Beast episodes.
Not a lot of Beastisms in there though. Like
I mean, nice Beast
the Yucatecan is
it's pretty good.
Yucatecan is fairly serviceable.
Yeah, and then when he says, "Well, I believe discretion could be the better part of valor," then she's like, "Do you mean run?" He's like, "More or less, yes." It's just like that was pretty good too. I liked all that. Seeing the Iago-ish Fabian Cortez running around being ridiculous. That was fun again. Seeing Apocalypse come back was fun again. And, seeing Beast in the big monster form was fun. It was all in all, it was a pretty fun episode. The only thing that pulls it back a little bit is the animation. I would probably give it a 10 if it wasn't for the fact that the animation is as good as it was before. A 9.
I don't think the dialogue was good enough to though. Fabian
Cortez
I
don't know.
His dialogue was quite great.
You got the fun bit with Caliban recognizing Jubilee. It's a nice throwback to the series before. Also, the Fabian Cortez Apocalypse stuff. I don't know. It all worked for me. I'd say it's an 8.
All right, fire up an X point.
All right. Well, the first one I was going to mention is it Rachel Summers that wears the same costume the Hounds do in the comic? She's got the red with the little spikes on it and the face print. So what's that about?
Because she was a Hound. Rachel was a Hound.
So what are the Hounds in the comics?
The Hounds are the trackers.
For Apocalypse in the future, in the Age of Apocalypse? Isn't that where she's from? Okay. That makes sense. So this episode does have some ties to Age of Apocalypse, because that's another point I want to bring up later.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my point. All I could think of about was that 90s design, or that I guess would have been late 90s Age of Apocalypse era version of Rachel Summers that was hanging around. They kept her look. They kept that look for her for a long time. So I read.
Yeah, I never, Excalibur they did.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because I never read a lot of X-Men comics growing up, but I recognize her immediately. I recognize their costumes as being hers almost immediately.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. They're definitely the Hounds as well. All right, my first X point. So there was a bit of bandying about there on the social media, so I just about who that little purple guy is in the intro of the original intro to this show. Like on the villain side when they're running, there's like the little purple guy.
Oh, I'll have to go back and look at it.
Yeah, and I don't know if it ever came up in our interview with Eric Lewald and Julia Lewald, so I decided to ask him because there was people who were arguing about it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can settle this. So yeah, I asked him. He says it's Gremlin. It's a character named Gremlin, and I believe it might be the second Gremlin. There's two Gremlins. One's the son of the other. It's like a
he was the Russian guy that was the Hulk enemy.
Yeah, him.
Okay,
so that's who it is, and he thinks Will Mineo just stuck it in there to balance out the numbers.
Oh yeah, it does look like Gremlin. Yeah. I just looked it up on YouTube, and you got Avalanche with his helmet on for some reason, and Warpath, who's never in the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, Avalanche is barely in the series too. I doubt we're going to see him again. Saw him a little bit in the first season. That was about it.
Yep.
Well, I might see him in the next one, I guess.
Like,
my other point, drawing on the references to Age of Apocalypse, is Beast's form when he becomes the crazy empowered Beast looks very much like he does in the Age of Apocalypse comic. Isn't he all like monstered out in that?
Dark Beast?
Yeah.
Dark Beast.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's like bad. And he looks a lot like he does when he's empowered by Cortez in this.
Yeah, a little bit. Dark Beast is kind of gray and not like big.
Yeah, but he's more monstrous. No, he's more monstrous. He's big and sort of more ferally looking. And he's got the sharper
He's
teeth.
definitely more feral looking.
And they did darken the colors of his costume or the colors of his fur when he was monstrous in this. So I feel like it was a slight nod to that.
All right. Well, all right. My next one it was very distracting. So there was actually, other than that shot of Beast we saw there, that's also kind of looked like the old animation. There was a straight up shot of Jubilee that was definitely just taken from an old episode, and it stood out so much. Like, it just made the animation in this episode look so much worse because they actually give you a comparison during the episode. So, yeah, that was striking. I'm glad there's not even going to be enough episodes with this animation style to even get used to it.
Not really. There's only like, what, 4 more? 5 more?
5 more, yeah.
There's only 10 of the season. This is 5, right?
Yeah.
And my other point was something that I guess you sort of touched on, but actually I looked up a little bit. Is Caliban shown as the leader of the Hounds, I guess? Leader in quotes. They share an appearance with 2 unrelated groups of Hounds from the comics, neither of which were associated with Apocalypse. According to what I'm reading. So,
all right. Well, I'll talk about Caliban as well. He was a Horseman of Apocalypse twice. He was the Horseman Death once, but he was also the Horseman Pestilence once. So, yeah. How about that? Go that's Caliban.
My next point is this show seems to have eschewed the idea of having B-plots. This episode, normally the show would have a B-plot where you'd see 2 other X-Men doing something back at the base or something, but they totally got rid of that. I guess there was a lot to cram into this one, and perhaps so. But
they do sort of do that, don't they? When they go off, was there a B plot when Storm went off to Africa? Like, it seems like when they go far away, they just sort of don't.
I thought there was
flashback to
because there was, because the rest of the X-Men eventually they meet up.
Rogue had a thing going.
Yeah, and then they were trying to figure out where she was, and then that was kind of that one. But okay. I mean, they usually the B and the A plot line up in the final act. So.
Yeah,
but I guess there was enough going on in this episode they didn't need one.
Yeah. All right. Well, next one of mine is, so we have the sort of a cult of Apocalypse here, in which in the comics the Egyptian one is called the Ashir and Sabanur. And it was interesting to get a mine, or at least didn't really have to be mine, but another geographical version of that. What? No, his name's En Sabanur. En
Sabanur, okay.
Sabanur, yeah.
You can't possibly. Yeah. It's Sabah.
Yeah, Sabah.
Oh, Sabah. That makes more sense. This is Saban with an N.
No, that's the company that makes this show.
Yes,
Haim Saban.
Saban.
It's not Saban. It's
I know. It's Saban. I know.
I know. All right, back to you.
Final
point.
Final point. Yeah, I feel like people shit on these episodes a lot, and based on this one, I don't know. I'm a little more hopeful towards what's coming, because I thought this could have been. I figured this one would be garbage. So the idea that to me this was a pretty good episode means that maybe there's a little hope for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Captain America Wolverine romp. That should be fun.
Old Soldiers, which is what, 2 episodes from now, I think.
Yeah, I think so. After Jubilee's Fairy Tale Theater, which I think is next.
Which is the next one, yes.
I've watched that one because I pre-watched it before our interview with the writer Brooks Wachtell.
Right. Actually, yeah, Old Soldiers is on after that one according to this list, but the lists are different, so I'm not 100% sure. That's not the official Disney one. So.
And my final point is a little historical. It's about the zero zeitgeist that happened in human history. So Beast mentions in this episode that
That was
some
cool,
scholars believe the Mayans invented the concept of zero. And while that's true, zero was actually invented 3 separate times in human history because, of course, certain geographies didn't connect with each other. So the first mention or evidence we have of the concept of zero was from Mesopotamia, actually, a bit before the Mayans came up with the same thing. And then it was also invented again in India, which eventually got adopted by the Chinese, who started to use it as the zero, as we know it now, like the circle. So, because for the Mesopotamians, for example, it was just like 2 slanted slashes, as in to represent 2 sides, and the middle piece is the zero, like it's the space in between 2 sides.
Oh,
like
okay.
That's what that was
the space. Yeah.
Zero.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
So, that's
I like
my final X point. All right. So let's check this out.
Hey, check this out.
This is our comic reminiscences and recommendations segment. I got a few, but I won't belabor it.
Oh, good.
Well, not too much, anyway. So one is, let me start off with the thing that'll tie into the episode a bit, and then I'm just gonna plug stuff for our friends and stuff. X Factor 51. This is Caliban. So this is after Caliban has been turned into the kind of monster that we see him as in this episode. And because of the mutant massacre, which I'm sure a lot of X-Goons are aware of,
there's always a mutant massacre every 5 years in comics.
No, the original mutant massacre. The original mutant massacre, Andre, when the Marauders went down into the tunnels and slaughtered the Morlocks. So,
how many of them are still dead?
One of the lead Marauders in that attack was Sabretooth. So in this issue, Caliban tracks down Sabretooth because he can do that. He's a tracker, and breaks Sabretooth's back, thinking he kills him because he doesn't know about Sabretooth's healing factor. So that's pretty badass. Caliban tracked down the most scary villain ever.
Isn't he kind of weak? He looks pretty weak.
No, it's beefed up Caliban, like in this episode.
Oh, okay. Who beefed him up?
Apocalypse, because he was a Horseman. Yeah.
Interesting. Is that it for your comic?
No, for that comic, but I also have, check out the Hellfire Gala. It's a yearly thing now in the X-Men world, and I enjoy it. I hope they keep doing the Hellfire Galas. Are you familiar with the Hellfire Galas, Andre?
I think just from when we talked about it last time.
The X-Men they throw a party every year now and invite, superheroes, celebrities, politicians, whatever. And they have a big party. They all dress up in cool variations of their costumes and stuff. It's all very fun. Like, look at these cool gowns and whatnots. There's lots going on.
Didn't Dave say it was an orgy?
What?
I thought that came up, that it was part of the Hellfire Club's thing.
Well, Dave should have showed up to explain himself if he said that.
Oh, well, he's busy.
He is busy. We do not begrudge Dave Cutler. He's got deadlines in a lot of the amazing comics that he's working on, which I'll talk about in a minute. But check out the Hellfire Gala, and I got this special cover, the X-Men 97 variant cover by Dan Wiesenmeyer. It's a slick cover. That's
super slick.
But I also have, speaking of our friend David Cutler making his deadlines, check out Iron Man Annual from this year. Iron Man vs. Storm. Art by the great Dave Cutler. Look at that Storm coming down there, all gorgeous and regal. God, she's amazing.
So who wins?
Should I spoil this comic?
Let me guess. Nobody actually really wins. They fight it out and then come to terms with whatever they're fighting about and then team up.
In the Marvel style.
Yes.
But I'm not disappointed with how it went. This is an Iron Man comic, but I walked away happy.
That's good.
I'll tell you that. They respect the Storm. They respect the Storm. Like, if you think of how it should go between their personalities and their skills, it goes that way. It's good. It's a great comic. You should read it. It's a fun fight. They're like in this weird, like, crystal cave thing.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I'll pick it up when I'm at the comic store.
Yeah, definitely check it out. Great art by Dave Cutler.
Yes. It's very cool.
And also, another friend of the show.
I was going to Adam Gorham's new book's out, isn't it?
Adam Gorham.
Yeah.
Miss Marvel.
The New Mutant.
One of my fave new characters of the last 10, 15 years. And she was always too cool for the Inhumans. She's very welcome to the family. Welcome to the family, Kamala. I have just picked this up. I haven't had time to read it yet. But I'm looking forward to seeing how this character I enjoy joins the team that I love.
And it's funny because he mentioned on our show he couldn't talk about what he was doing. And that's probably why, because that was a big deal.
Yep. That is a big deal. And it's very, let's have a little look at the art there. Gorgeous. Look at this gorgeous art by Adam Gorham there. The details.
Gorgeous.
We have some talented friends here at the X-Rated X-Men Review Show.
Sure do.
Yeah, that's me. What's your recommendation?
Well, I just started reading this because a friend lent it to me. Are you familiar with the work of Junji Ito?
Can't say that I am.
So he does these Japanese horror comics. This particular one is called Shiver. A friend lent it to me. It's a bunch of his short stories, including a haunted record that was recorded of a dying person, somebody with this disease that riddles you with holes, lots of disturbing Japanese weirdness. It's pretty cool. It's short little bite-sized stories, a lot of interesting and disturbing imagery. If you ever watch Japanese horror movies, there's a lot of strange stuff in that too, and they're kind of fun. I'm actually I got the Criterion Channel a while ago, and one of the collections on it is hopping vampires. Not sure if you're familiar with this, but in old Japanese movies, vampires they hopped. They would they're like zombies, and they come at you like this, and then they would just hop up and down. And as they hop towards you, it seems goofy, but it was just the style of these movies and what they did back in the day. So just sort of another reason as to some of the weirdness of Japanese horror. But Ito's done a ton of horror. Like his whole thing is doing these horror books. I read one of these a while ago because I have a bit of fascination with Frankenstein for obvious reasons. And he did an adaptation of Frankenstein, which is pretty good as well. This one is mine. The other one is a book a friend lent me. But yeah, just grab something by Junji Ito and check it out. It's pretty cool stuff. The Frankenstein adaptation is actually really good. In fact, this made me have an idea for a podcast, and I know I don't have time, but I might have more time in the future. We
do have a podcast empire.
Well, doing a Frankenstein podcast. There's so many shows, movies, books, comics based on Frankenstein.
Just
watch different versions of Frankenstein.
Yeah,
there's so many.
Christopher Lee's in there.
Well, yeah, and get him off target. Peter Cushing and all the adaptations they did in like the miniseries, the movies.
There's friggin' De Niro.
The De Niro one that Kenneth Branagh directed was in. Yeah, there's there's a new one Larry Fessenden, who's like an indie horror guy, did recently called Depraved, which is sort of a modern day where it's like a field medic soldier guy builds a person out of dead soldiers, which is sort of his Frankenstein story. So there's lots of that. I think it might be kind of fun just to do a whole podcast on all the different versions of Frankenstein out there.
Yeah, it's something you could just do, even like just pick up and do every October.
There's like 200 There's probably like 200 Frankenstein movies out there. So some good, some bad. Even the originals, like those would be fun. Horace and Karloff. I'm thinking of it's coming to me. The Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Like
that was Lugosi, I think, that played Frankenstein in that one.
It might have been Glenn. It was Glenn Strange, I think, at that point. Lugosi only played him in one movie, I think, and he played like Fritz or whatever.
He played Fritz
in the second one.
No, he played Igor.
Right, he played Igor in the second one. Fritz in the first one.
Yeah, Fritz is. The first.
Yes, right. So, and Bride of Frankenstein.
That's a good one.
Yeah, they're all like that's what Young Frankenstein. The Barry Wrightson comic. There's so much cool stuff.
Son of Frankenstein.
Yeah, and even like the new series. Well, there's a ton of just Ghost of Frankenstein's a ton of them, but even the
Gene Wilder ones.
The Creature Commandos series that he's putting. David Harbour's doing the voice for. I don't think it'd be fun. I'll become the world's leading Frankenstein historian. We can watch the Munsters.
There you go. Where are we at now?
Anyway,
okay,
I think it's the movie one. I think you're getting a baby. I heard a door. I think you're getting a baby.
Change the channel. You predicted correctly. It does look like a movie.
My remote!
Good guess.
Every time I hear that door, it's either a cat or a baby.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to suggest a movie that is from 2018. And the reason I'm going to suggest this is because I feel as though you will appreciate it. And perhaps you didn't even know it existed. So I have Plex. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with this is, but it's a free app you can use to turn your computer into a server. So if you...
And shit.
Well, sorry, what'd you say?
It's on like the Roku TVs and stuff.
Yeah, it's on a PlayStation, whatever. So you can set your computer to be a server. So you can put episodes you download in a folder, and then it will show up on Plex wherever you have the app, and you can watch it on your TV or whatever device you got. So it's great for that if you have digital copies of things you want to watch. But it also has free channels on it, tons of them. Like trailers from Hell. Joe Dante's thing is on there. They have movies playing all the time. But Shout, who's a Blu-ray factory, a Blu-ray company, has a channel on there. Has a few channels on there. And last night, I was surfing through some channels while I was eating or something, and I came across a documentary called Chris Claremont's X-Men, and it's a full. Okay, I was going to say, and I watched.
Plex.
Yeah.
I watched it on there. Yeah,
is it on demand? Because I'd like to watch it. It was just streaming when I saw it, and I didn't have time to watch all of it.
Yeah, I just watched it on one of those free things.
Yeah, but it was playing live when I saw it, so I just watched.
Oh no, you can just go on.
You can just go watch it. Okay, cool. Because they have lots of movies you can just watch on demand.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was a good documentary.
Yeah, what do you think of the live action versions of the X-Men they have for filler in between the scenes?
I got a kick out of them.
I thought the Storm was particularly good, and the Kitty Pryde was too. But it's an interesting little documentary talking about the historic run of Chris Claremont's X-Men, and it's pretty cool.
The run that started it all.
And one thing that I thought was really interesting from it was Claremont, if he was allowed to do what he wanted to do, was going to kill off Charles Xavier and make Magneto the permanent head of the X-Men. Redeeming him.
Which they sort of did do, but
they redeemed him by giving him the backstory about being in the concentration camps and all that, which is sort of what set up for him being a sympathetic. And then that was sort of putting him on the path to redemption, in which Charles would die and Magneto would agree to take up his role, and then they come up with an even worse villain for them to fight, which would probably be Apocalypse or something. But
a lot of things that either got messed up or they wouldn't let him do. It's kind of.
But funny. It's kind of
Rogue
cool.
Was supposed to be black. She's based on Grace Jones. If you look at all the early Rogue appearance, she looks like Grace Jones.
The hair and everything.
But the artist didn't know that and just defaulted to white.
That's interesting. Yeah, that sucks. That would have been cool to have more representation in that manner. Plus, having a Southern, she's supposed to be Southern too.
Yeah, she's still
Yeah, cool. That makes
Everything
sense.
else about the character is the same, but yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a cool documentary. It's on Plex for free. Go check it out. Especially if you're listening to this show, you love X-Men. It's definitely worth it.
It is a good documentary.
And Claremont is super open with all his information and
yep.
And super
and they have interviews with Ann Nesenti and Wheezy Simonson,
Rob Liefeld, a bunch of other people show up on it talking about it. Also, I don't think they have them, but they talk about us, John Byrne a lot too, because they work together on the.
Oh yeah. Well,
so it's cool.
Canadian master.
Yep, it's super cool. Jason Aaron's on there. I'm a huge fan of him. It's cool.
Too.
Yeah, it's Jim Shooter, Mark Silvestri.
You can't do a documentary about those days without Shooter. He gets on all those. All right. Well,
Mark Silvestri's on there. It's cool. They got a lot of cool
people. Perhaps you better take over from here.
Well, I'm just going to keep it quick. Leonard Cohen's 10 new songs.
Oh, excellent. Finally one that I can get behind.
It's for an album that's entirely pretty slow songs, it's amazing and never bores you or puts you to sleep. It's got Leonard Cohen's beautiful words, and it's just got a lot of it's just a slow, loungy kind of R&B almost feel behind it, the music, and he's got singers with him. It's beautiful. Alexandra Leaving's a great song. Love Itself. Oh, there's so many good songs on that.
It's funny you picked one of his newer ones. Most people don't. Well, not newer, but 2001.
I like it better. To me, that's all of my favorite Leonard Cohen songs.
Really, better than Everybody Knows. Hallelujah.
Yeah, I think the words are great in a lot of the old Leonard Cohen stuff, but they're not particularly listenable. Everybody knows this isn't a song you want to listen to a lot.
Oh man, I could listen to it all the time. Dude, I could listen to it all the time. It's so good.
It's actually a good song, but it's not as good as those songs. Those songs are so slick.
Bird on a Wire.
Tenor songs are so good.
Closing Time? Yeah. Come on, man. I don't know.
Yeah, those songs are not
I'm just happy
nearly
to pick
as
Leonard
re-listenable
Cohen.
as 10 New Songs.
I disagree, but I'm glad that you like Leonard Cohen and you found love of his work,
I love
regardless
Leonard Cohen.
of where you find it.
Haunted by the fact before he died, he played 5 shows here at the Rebecca Cohen, and we tried to get tickets the day they were announced, and they were immediately sold out, and I couldn't get in. So for 5 shows, 5 shows sold out immediately.
One of my favorite songs by him is from You Want It Darker. It's called Traveling Light, which is very, very good. So that's a great album too. That's even newer than 10
New Songs.
10 New Songs. But Traveling Light check out Traveling Light as well. And You Want It Darker. Anything from that album, anything by Leonard Cohen, just go listen to it all. It's so good.
Yep. Tune up. All right. Well, what else?
If you ever watched the movie, Adam Agoyan's movie Exotica, everybody knows he plays a pretty big part in that movie.
It certainly does. What else? Do we got anything else to talk about, or you're not feeling that great? Let's move.
I had a bit of a headache earlier. It's starting to feel a little better now. But
well, glad to hear it.
All I need now is for you to contact your students, Professor.
Homework from Professor My Ex.
Well, I hope you like your Jubilee, because you get her again next episode with Jubilee's Fairy Tale Theater. Jubilee leads a group of school children on a tour of a cave, and she tells them a story using elements of her own life that are fantastical. I mean, we'll see. I've never been a huge fan when someone within a narrative of a story tells a story to other people and then uses those characters. It just seems like a different device.
Waste.
It's like a
mirror universe episode instead.
A hackney device.
It's a waste of my time.
I'm okay with those, but this one just seems like, there's no real stakes here. It's just someone telling the story. I guess it's just a fun way to see characters you're familiar with.
Well, the stakes are her and these kids are like
trapped in the cave,
potentially going to die in this cave. Yeah.
Oh, it'd be better if they died and this was all a fever dream before they like Jacob's Ladder or something, where they're just like the whole episode is just them dying.
Yeah.
Sorry if I spoiled Jacob's Ladder for you.
You didn't. I'm aware of Jacob's Ladder. All right. Bye-bye, baby. That's probably the last baby pass off of the episode.
Who knows?
Who knows? You can support the show at patreon.com/XMen Review Show. You can contact us at xmenreviewshow@gmail.com or on the Facebooks. We're on there, and YouTube and Twitch. Don't message me on Twitch. I'll never get that. Find our audio-only version wherever you get your podcasts. Please like, review, subscribe, and of course, check out ufpodcasts.com. The website.
We have a website now?
Yeah, we have for some time. I just keep forgetting to hype it.
Yeah, you guys are arguing over the domain name on the chat, and I checked out after like the 36 notification.
What? I don't think we argued about the domain name. That was obvious.
No, there's something you guys are arguing about recently.
Oh, yeah, we argue about stuff, but not
Oh, my God. I can't keep up. It's too much.
Hey, look, there's a lot of business that has to happen to run a mighty federation of podcasts.
That is true. You need like a president.
We have one. It's Dave.
Oh, okay.
I'm like the number one. I'm like the XO. I get shit done and hassle everybody. Dave gets to be liked and rule benevolently. So it's a good thing we got going here. I don't worry about being liked, so I'm the perfect XO. A proud member of the United Federation of Podcasts. We are. On those many podcasts. You know what? On the Patreon, though, check out all the sweet merch we got. We got an X-rated hoodie. We got X-rated long sleeve shirt. We got Xavier was right. Magneto was right. T-shirts. We got the old school. This one's for you, Morph.
Do we not get one of these for like a kickback?
No, we can fork out some of our Patreon dollars for one.
Right.
But apparently they're good. X-Goon Ryan says he got his. This one's for you, Morph, and the quality's real good on them. And
really?
It's a regular in his rotation. Yeah,
I would like if Magneto was right one for sure.
All right, then we'll cash in some dollars. I'll get the Xavier one, and we'll fight it out.
Only if it's I can pay you for it, whatever.
Oh no, that's what we get. That's what the Patreon's for. Whatever.
Well, man. I think that isn't that paying for the show to stay on the air.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I can pay money for sure. That's fine.
We love our Patreon followers. Thanks to all three of you. We love you.
We do love you.
Be cool like them. We could use a few more.
That's right.
All the more stuff we can offer you. We got big things coming. I mean, more reviews, and I think we'll leave what we do review next up to the X-Goons. We'll give you guys some options. I'm thinking it's either going to be Silver Surfer, Wolverine and the X-Men, or start kicking away at Spider-Man, maybe. I don't know. But
I feel like we have to. I mean, if we're just going to call it X-rated, it has to be something X-Men related. We have to stick with the name, which is fine. But
yeah, we can do Wolverine and the X-Men, maybe.
I guess so. I'm indifferent. It's supposed to be a good cartoon, I guess. Is that all on the Disney Plus too?
Yep.
All right. Well,
we'll see. We'll figure it out. We'll leave it up to the X-Goons. We can always review the X-Men anime. But,
well, we could. I don't care.
We just also hold up a movie podcast tomorrow. Andre's going to be on. When are we starting that? How late are you going to make us start that?
Oh, we don't have to do it tomorrow. I mean, you guys just dropped an episode like 3 days ago, did you?
No.
Like Friday last week, you dropped an episode. How often do you put them out?
I might have been lazy getting it up on the audio only.
Oh, okay.
That's been out of 2 or 3 weeks now. Yeah.
Oh, well, I only see them on the audio episode. So
yeah, sometimes I forget, and it takes me a while to load them up.
Well, I mean, in theory, I don't know. We can do it on the weekend too if you want. Whatever. I probably won't be home till 9 tomorrow night. So.
Oh, and that's easy. 9's when we start anyway.
It might be closer to 9:30 by the time I get settled, but that's fine.
Whatever. That's like our normal start time.
It's not normally that late. If they're 3.5 hour episodes like your normal ones are, I can't stay up that late.
No, well, we'll get through it. I got very little to say about Quest for Love.
You should have more to say. It's actually a decent movie.
Super Mater Brothers, they do reviews, and we do the Mary Mater Marvel Society over there as well. They do reviews of the reality shows. And, of course, what's going on over on the Graphics History Podcast.
Working on new guests. So the episode I just had with David Hun just dropped, which was pretty cool.
That was a fun conversation, yeah.
Yeah, he's really a nice guy, very freeing with his time. We got some cool conversation in, and he strengthened my resolve to want to one day live off the grid in the woods somewhere.
It's the dream.
You know what's an idea?
Set up a Nordic spa, and it's going to be just for me.
That would be amazing, actually. Can I please come to the Nordic spa?
Yes, you may come to my Nordic spa.
You know what we should do, actually, Davan, as an in-between for this? For seasons? Let's do the X-Men movies.
Oh, God.
Come on. There's enough goodness in there to make it worthwhile. We can do the Wolverine ones, too. They all work. The Deadpool ones, too.
Okay.
We don't have to walk through the whole episode like we do.
I mean, it's kind of apropos because Deadpool 3 looks like it's going to be Kill the Foxverse, so it's kind of a good lead up to that idea, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably. So, yeah, I'm down. We can do that. I'm not going to be happy and positive for a lot of it.
Well, listen,
so
I don't
you're going to be dealing with cranky, a little bit disheveled.
I don't think we need to walk through the plot to those because I think most people have seen them. We can just chat like we chat for fun for the entire episode.
Yeah.
We'll watch them again, and then we'll go through it.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun. There's enough good.
We'll still have our X points and stuff. We'll make X points about those god awful movies.
Actually, the whole thing could just be probably X points. You could probably just like pick 10 points each that we both like from the movie, or something from the movie we want to draw attention to, and then just riff on those. That's probably enough to fill an hour and a half show.
Yeah, there's an idea. Mix that in with some radio theaters,
or like your top 5 favorite things and your top 5 least favorite things, and then we'll each do that, and then we can chat about those.
Yeah, that's fun.
I'm sure that like I actually didn't think the last one, the Phoenix, was that bad.
I didn't see it.
It actually wasn't that bad. It was certainly better than Apocalypse.
Like I regretted seeing Apocalypse.
But it did kind of seem like they did The Last Stand. And we can do the New Mutants movie too.
Oh yeah, I watched that one.
It was all right.
I didn't mind it. Yeah, I didn't mind it.
I always
couple character choices.
I always joke that whenever a Native American character shows up, it's always one of two actors. It's always the same two actors. Like the guy that played Slipknot in the Suicide Squad, the first one, he's one of them, and then there's one other guy that's always the other one. So it's funny because
Adam Beach.
Yeah, Adam Beach, that's the one. And he's in the New Mutants as like her dad. So, but he only shows up briefly for a second. And I remember when he showed up, I was like, "Of course it's him." Like when there's like a middle-aged native guy, it's always Adam Beach every time.
He's a good actor.
Adam so Beach. I guess we'll do the movies in the order they come out. I suppose,
I suppose so. Yeah.
There
can't believe I just agreed to that. But but we're putting in some fun stuff for my own.
We can do like a movie and then do a play or something.
Yeah.
Mix it up that way. That'd be all right.
We'll try to beat X-Men on Sega Genesis.
Yeah, I'll come up someday. We'll do that. That'll be fun.
It's a good game.
Yeah, I imagine so. Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm down for that. Let's do that.
All right. I like it.
We can talk about how it was a travesty they never brought Toad back to the X-Men universe at the first one.
It's because the Toad got hit by lightning.
What happens? All right, we'll talk about that.
I'm mad already. I don't know if this is a good idea.
Well, you can include it on your 5.
Right.
You include one of your 5 didn't like points.
Yeah, so it'll be like all 5 of them. We also live along a podcast. The best Star Trek network this side of Alpha Centauri, where we have many shows like Locutors of Trek. We'll be kicking off season 2 soon with the writer of The Metaphysics of Star Trek will be joining us for a discussion on metaphysics through the lens of Star Trek. And then we'll have Mohammed Noor on, the current biology consultant for Star Trek. He'll be talking biology with us. Lots of good things here. We'll have Jenny Johnson on talking art. It's going to be a good second season. Derek Tyler Attico talking writing. It's going to be a star-studded affair, and we're getting real experts to talk about the stuff we pretend to be experts about every time. So that'll be fun.
That's fun.
Yeah, well, we just did an interview with Derek Tyler Attico. He's writing the autobiography of Benjamin Sisko. Go check that interview out. Get that book. Get it on pre-orders. It's out October 10th. I can't wait. I've never been more excited for a book. Can't wait. Check out our many divisions. There's lots going on over there at Live Long Podcast. We got a Debate 9, actually, coming up on Friday. Check that out. Oh, and Lower Decks is out again. New season of Lower Decks. We'll be reviewing that Thursday, and Derek will be joining us for that review as well.
When did that just start? Because I watched that show.
It hasn't started yet. It drops Thursday. They're dropping 2 episodes, though.
Oh, okay.
So that's fun. And there's also Trivial Debates, Aiming on Track, and the Hellbound podcast with Alex Blackburn and Michael Chan. And that is our mighty network as it stands right now. But maybe there's going to be a Frankenstein podcast coming soon. You never know. You never know.
No,
but, join us tomorrow night. Andre and Murphy and me will be talking about multi-dimensional movies.
And can't believe I'm doing this.
You're doing it. You're doing it. You're a big fan of the show. You got to be.
I am, but I also have no time in my life.
I know. But we're doing it anyway. Any final thoughts?
Go to hell. I'm just kidding.
Leave us.
Leave us. And I love how he's got a servant girl that's fanning him with a palm branch, and he's like, "Leave us." Anyway, fun episode. I'm glad. Like I said, I got hope for the rest of the series. We'll see how it goes.
Awesome.
Well, I've got hope from the high. I don't know how the lines go. Going with the heart. That's Faith in the Heart.
Yep,
I can reach any star. What an
odd podcast and Faith
what
in the
an
Heart
odd choice to
just,
go from.
It almost sunk the show.
Go from all the
orchestral.
I actually didn't mind the song, but all the orchestral stuff to that.
Yeah,
very interesting.
It was an interesting choice. They've since gone back on that. Anyway, catch you next time, everybody.
Next time.
It appears we have run out of road.
Nah, we ran out of road hours ago.